Marina Sirtis plays coy about her possible return to Star Trek. Anson Mount makes the rounds in the news down in Australia. And it looks like Star Trek will be beaming in heavily into San Diego Comic-Con this year. Let's pour it up. First story that we're going to be covering today is Marina Sirtis. She sat down recently with a BBC podcast show known as Loose Ends, and she was asked a bunch of different questions about a new play that she has coming up and all these other things. And then at the end, they kind of pressed her a little bit about whether or not she's going to be returning as Counselor Troi in the new Star Trek Picard show starring Patrick Stewart. And she had this to say.
Is he penciled in to do a new version?
He's doing it.
Yeah.
Old Baldy, Sir Old Baldy is actually filming as we speak.
Yes. And is there no role for you? Or there isn't any more now you've said that?
No, actually, we are not allowed ever to talk about anything in Hollywood anymore. I have signed so many NDAs, non-disclosure agreements recently. I actually feel like one of Trump's mistresses.
So that's not really a denial. That's more of just a complaint about NDAs and how frustrating they can be, and a commentary about the current U.S. president. But that's, separate from what we're talking about. So this is coming off of the heels just a few weeks ago when we had the leaked story about, Brent Spiner coming back as Data, and then they pulled that down from that website. We covered that, on this show as well just a few weeks ago. So it does seem as though that she would be one of the most likely candidates to return. She's obviously supposed to still be married to Commander Riker, and then we know Jonathan Frakes has been heavily involved with the production of Picard and has supposedly filmed scenes on set as, Commander Riker, or Captain Riker, excuse me. I don't get used to saying him as Captain Riker, but they're supposed to still be married, so it would be kind of a bummer if she wasn't there, because then it would imply that maybe they got divorced, and hopefully that's not the story they're sticking with. We already got that treatment, that fairy tale destruction treatment in Star Wars where Han Solo and Leia didn't end up. So let's try to keep it together in Star Trek, and maybe they can stay together. I don't know, maybe it's just a fantasy world. We could just make it work. They went to counseling with Counselor Troi. Next up, we have Anson Mount, who is making the news rounds down in Australia, doing a couple of different promotions down there. And he was asked by Stack.com if he's heard of the petition, which we do know that he has heard of it, and if he would be interested in returning to play the Pike character. And he had this to say. The obvious answer is yes, of course. However, these things are very big, strategic, financial questions that don't really involve me. But I've never seen a fan reaction like this to anything I've ever done, and I could not be more flattered that there is this fan base out there that is so moved to do something like a petition. I've never seen anything like it. I'm not entirely sure that I deserve it, but at the same time, I can't take too much credit for it because I'm the guy who just says the words. I think the lion's share of the credit should go towards the writers. Well, you'd probably be one of the few people in the world that would give the lion's share of the credit to the writers. No, man, you delivered that character. You made it. You sold it. So don't be modest. Just take the compliment, Anson. But this is great. This is not the first time he's kind of inching towards the possibility of returning, and now he's basically saying flat out, like, I'm ready to go. And he openly states that it's a strategic financial situation, which is something that we've already all theorized about. I've talked a little bit about on the channel, which is that they're just trying to magically come up with the funding to pay for Rebecca Romijn, Ethan Peck, and Anson Mount for a Pike show in whatever way that would look, whether that's just the short treks that we know that they are doing a short trek starring Ethan Peck in #1, but we didn't get confirmation that Anson Mount would be there. But we do know that they're trying to get that crew back in some capacity. And at this point, based off of this quote, which was over on June 21st, so it wasn't that long ago, I would say that the likelihood that Anson Mount was attached to that short trek that they filmed is probably very high. He probably was there, and he probably got in and out, and nobody took any pictures of him because, I don't know, maybe just they were better at trying to hide his presence or whatever it was. I would be surprised if they just got the two of, Ethan Peck and Rebecca Romijn to sit down and do a short trek without Anson Mount, because it would just look weird. If they were there and then he wasn't there, then it'd be like, well, where the hell's Anson Mount? We want to see Pike. Bring the man back. So I think he was there. I think we just didn't see him there. We don't really know anything about that short trek at all. All we know is those 2 leaked Instagram photos. I shouldn't even call them leaked. They were posted and then pulled down. But that's all we know about it. So I think because he's so dead set on clearly wanting to do it, but it's being a financial situation where CBS is just trying to come up with the money. I think that he's probably going to try to be remaining involved in whatever way he possibly can. And I know they're saying he's kind of dumb, but the show ended a little bit ago, and he's obviously trying to move on and get more gigs and get different jobs. He hasn't officially signed any contract, but on his Twitter page, it still shows him as Captain Pike on the top. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, clearly the guy does care about it. He can make that picture anything he wants. He's been in many different televisions and films, so he could do whatever he wanted. But he still has that as Pike, and I think that's kind of telling that he really loves this character and wants to be back. And I think if he gets paid the right kind of money and CBS is good with it, I think they'll figure it out. I really do think they'll figure it out. And on to the biggest story of today, which is the Star Trek appearance at the San Diego Comic-Con Convention Center in 2019. Now, this is going to be one of the largest presences that Star Trek has ever had inside of San Diego Comic-Con. Star Wars has pulled out of this year's convention. They have their own celebrations, so nobody cares about them anymore at San Diego Comic-Con. But Star Trek is not sleeping. They have recognized the fact that there is an open market for them to advertise all of the new shows that they have going on directly to their fan bases, and without Star Wars' presence overpowering probably every damn thing over at San Diego Comic-Con, they have an opportunity to really hit it home, and they are doing that probably underneath their global franchising group with the title of Star Trek Universe. Now, this whole thing is quite a bit, so I'm going to give you guys a little blurb that they came off of the Star Trek's main website to kind of let everyone know everything that's happening. So let's start at the beginning, which is what is happening on the very first day of San Diego Comic-Con. So the Star Trek Universe Hall H panel will run from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. on July 20th. And this is supposed to include cast members from Star Trek Discovery, such as Sonequa Martin Green, Alex Kurtzman, Michelle Paradis, Heather Caden, and they're also going to have the series guest Tig Notaro playing Chief Reno do the, moderation thing, which she did last year, if you guys don't remember. She was there doing that last year with all of the new cast members that were there, including Anson Mount, who's not going to be here this time, apparently. Then also during this same Hall H thing, they're going to be doing Star Trek Lower Decks, which is going to feature co-star and executive producer Mike McMahon with a surprised guest appearance, sharing the exclusive first look of the upcoming animated series. So that's going to be really exciting. And of course, to wrap up the entire event, which is what everyone's super excited for, the main event of this particular thing, which is Star Trek Picard cast members will be there, including Sir Patrick Stewart, Alison Pill, Michelle Hurd, Evan Evagoria, Isa Briones, Santiago Cabrera, and Harry Treadway, alongside executive producers Alex Kurtzman and Michael Chavon, and Akiva Goldsman, and Heather Caden. Again, it's the same kind of production team kind of moving from each of the shows. I wouldn't be surprised if all of the Kurtzman and Goldsman and Caden weren't also there for the Lower Decks thing. But that's going to be their main Hall H presentation. Again, that's going to be on July 20th. But outside of the main Hall H presentation, we're going to get a lot of different other things there as well, including this something called the Star Trek Discovery booth, #Transporter Experience. Now, this is supposed to be some kind of weird VR thing where it's going to make you explore strange new worlds and be a part of a planet where you're going to beam down from the Discovery to go do something. It's not clear if this is just going to be kind of a fun thing or if this storyline of exploring the new world is going to be attached to something in regards to Star Trek Discovery Season 3, but more to follow on that. If anybody's actually going to San Diego Comic-Con this year, I will not be, and they want to link up with me to let me know what this was about, I would be very, 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 very grateful. So if you guys and gals are attending and you're able to take this experience, just let me know what the story was about. You can hit me up on email or through comment down here. Next up is something called the Jean-Luc Picard The First Duty exhibit. Now, this is, of course, trying to build up the buzz around the new Star Trek Picard show, and this is apparently going to be a wall-to-wall kind of visual museum of different props and things from Star Trek Picard and Picard's past. So it's going to include uniforms that he used to wear. It's going to include Stargazer model ships. It's going to probably include his own Earl Grey teacup will probably be there as well. It's going to be, his flute's going to be there from what I understand. The family album. Hopefully it's better than the one they used in Generations and not the space photo album with the weird outlines on it, but we'll see what happens there. And of course, what they're going to be doing there is showing off new props from the Star Trek Picard show, which is going to have little bits of fun information, things like that there. And I'm curious to see what any of those are. So again, if anyone's going and they want to let me know what they saw, that would be great. The only thing on this list that I found was to be really interesting was the fact that it said that all that remains of the Borg Queen, the one that he had on the end of First Contact where he snaps the spine. And I think it's an interesting tidbit to add. I know a lot of people are theorizing that we might be dealing with the Borg situation again with Picard. I hope that's not the case, but the fact that they're bothering to put that prop in there and label that on their website, Star Trek officials website, letting people know that the Borg Queen's remnants are still going to be there. I don't know if that's what they're trying to lead to, trying to prep us for some kind of Borg thing, or if they just thought it would be like a cool prop. I mean, I would love to see what it looks like, but I don't know. It kind of makes me worry because I really don't want to deal with any more Borg stuff with Picard. I feel like we rounded that up, honestly, perfectly in Star Trek First Contact. And the last little bit that you're going to be able to get is at different booths and at different times during the day for a limited series run, you will be able to get access to exclusive pins. Now, there is like a little visitor pin there, and there's also like this really cool Picard crest pin that looks kind of neat and probably very unique. So if you guys are going, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Again, they're going to be at different booths and different areas throughout the event there for San Diego Comic-Con. So try to get to those different locations as early as you can. All right, let's go ahead to that rumor rundown. So there's not really much going on in the rumors section. I just wanted to go ahead and make a quick clarification on a video that I made a few days ago, which was the Netflix versus Star Trek. It wasn't very clear in that video. I felt that my intention was there to just have a conversation about Netflix versus Star Trek versus CBS, basically. But I still truly believe that Netflix is going to be airing Star Trek Discovery Season 3. There's absolutely no reason for them not to air it. They already paid for it, and not airing it is only going to shoot themselves in the foot. They are not going to stand on some kind of weird moral high ground to where they say, this show sucketh so much, I will not air it. No, they paid for it, they're going to air it. I truly believe that, and they're probably going to pay. They probably already paid for the next season too, in order to stream it. Not paid for the season, but to stream the next season. So they're probably looking to do that as well, provided that we get a 4th season of Star Trek Discovery. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the comment of the week. This comment of the week comes from a user, The Hillbilly Gamer, and it says, Michael Burnham, I cannot get over a woman named Michael. This is garbage, and I cannot accept what they've done to the Klingon species. It is nothing but Mary Sue bullshit. They've destroyed Star Trek just like they destroyed Star Wars with their SJW garbage. Don't get me wrong, I really liked Captain Janeway. Now, she was Catherine Janeway. She had a woman's name because she was a woman. Well, the Hillbilly Gamer, I really appreciate your insight on your feelings regarding women being named Michael. Not back in my country. They need to have a lady's name, like Catherine. Listen, man, a lot of people named Michael. Even I made a video about the fact that I thought Michael was going to be transgender way, way long ago, back when I just wanted to get clicks on my YouTube channel, which is a terrible practice, which I've stopped. But that video is still out there for people to watch and to make fun of me on, because that was really stupid of me. But listen, man, that's a bigoted thought. Women can be named anything they want. Men can be named anything they want. In fact, you can meet a man named Catherine. What do you think about that? Or is that not good for you? So anyways, the Hillbilly Gamer, thanks for sharing your insights. And hopefully you continue to remember what Star Trek is about. And hopefully you continue to broaden your horizons and understand that names can come in infinite diversities with infinite combinations. Thank you. Anyways, guys and gals, that wraps up today's video. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit of a long one. We had a lot to hit with that, Comic-Con stuff. But anyways, I'm curious to hear what all of you guys think. Do you think that Counselor Troi is going to be back inside of Star Trek? Do you think that Anson Mount is gearing up to be re-engaged as Captain Pike? And what do you think about Star Trek's large appearance at San Diego Comic-Con? Are you excited to see what they have in store? Who's all going? Are you going? Are you going to be going to these halls? Are you going to be going to these exhibits? Share your thoughts down below. Let's get this conversation started, and I'll catch all of y'all next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies.